Hi there. Welcome again to Peninsula Players Presents. And I'm very happy to introduce to you today Hayden Hoffman, who made his professional debut at Peninsula Players in 2016 in the musical The Full Monty. So, Hayden, hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. And you just moved?
Into college, yes. Yeah.
So, where are you?
I am at UW Stevens Point.
How exciting. When did you get in?
2 days ago.
Wow, so this is all brand new.
Yeah, I'm still getting moved into my room. So,
Excellent, excellent. I hope it all goes great.
well,
That's
thank you very
very
much.
exciting. A little bit about Hayden. He recently graduated from Gibraltar High School, where he participated in musicals, forensics, one-act competitions, and solo ensemble. And you received the MVP for soccer.
Yes, sir.
And also in 2019, he performed the role of Boyo in Windjammers at Northern Sky Theater. And you are starting at Stevens Point in musical theater. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. How exciting. Well, congratulations on all of that.
Thank you very much.
So, one of the things that's always interesting to me, and I hope to the people watching, is how you got started on this path with theater and musical theater, and
Hmm.
when that started.
Sure. Well, ever since I moved to Door County, they start you off pretty early in elementary school, working with music, with Mrs. Free. That's the teacher for the
Hmm.
elementary, and she puts on these big musical concerts for each grade each year. And immediately when I got there, I I don't know what drove me to do it, but there were like auditions for little solos, so like Simba and the Lion King and Mowgli and Jungle Book, and so I auditioned for those right away. I got like the little solo parts in those musicals, and I don't know, I just loved it. It was fun. It was something to put my energy into. I was always singing ever since I was young. My
Uh-huh.
mom used to listen to a lot of music, so yeah, I think it started as a music thing and then morphed into a theater thing.
Was theater in your family at all before that?
Um, Actually, my mom's sister uh is an actor.
Ah,
But I never knew that ever until recently. So, yeah.
so it may be a little bit in your genes.
It could be, yeah. Yeah.
So you were and your folks have been very supportive of all of this.
Definitely. Yeah. Every step of
That,
the way, yeah.
oh, that's terrific.
Mhm.
That's terrific. I think my folks, when I told them I was getting into theater, they said, "Don't you think you want to do something that makes more money?"
Yeah, yeah. I've definitely had people in my grade who have thought that way, but it's my passion, and I'm not gonna let people knock that.
Yes, I that's wonderful. So you did a lot of stuff in high school too. I listed all the musicals, forensics, one act competition, solo ensemble. That's
Hmm.
sounds like quite a lot while you were playing sports.
Yeah. The only things that really overlapped were one act and soccer take place at the exact same times in the year.
Hmm.
And so after school, I would immediately go to soccer practice, and then after practice, I would run down to the theater and practice for one act. So
Wow. And that and you got to love it to do it like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so what will you be while you're there at Stevens Point? You'll be in the musical theater program. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what's the goal there?
Um, like after college, I guess, or
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, do you see in your mind ideally where you'd like to be after that?
sure. Gosh, I've always wanted to do movies, to be honest.
Ah,
Um, But obviously, if you're in musical theater, Broadway is like the dream. Uh,
Hmm.
so I was thinking after college, maybe heading out to New York and
Oh,
seeing what I can do.
have you been there before?
I have not, no.
It's okay. That's what I did out of college. I moved to New York, never having ever seen it,
Sure, yeah.
and I'm still alive.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta dive in. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And in 2016, um, you did the full Monty with the players. And do you recall auditioning for that?
Gosh, I do actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
vividly because we did it via video.
Mm-hmm.
And we needed someone to play my dad, and so my brother Alec ended up reading lines with me for the audition video, and we ruined so many takes by laughing. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's I'll never forget that.
That's great. And then we went into rehearsal. I directed that, and that's a big musical. I love that show.
Yeah,
And what was the experience like going into the rehearsal room for you?
nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, being around so many people who seemed to know what they were doing,
Hmm.
and just like trying to figure out what to do. Like, yeah, it's yeah.
I thought one of the things that was very cool was Adrian Aguilar played your father in the show.
Hmm.
And I do remember I had the sense that he took you under his wing during the show.
Yeah. We shared like an off little dressing room, and we would always like uh talk about what happened during scenes and like that sort of thing. It was definitely nice being close enough with him um that we could talk about that. It was nice to have someone to confide in if I like had a bad night.
Hmm.
So that was yeah, that was nice.
Well, that happens to all of us. Yeah. Yeah. And he played your father in the show, and of course, I sensed a very strong bond between the two of you on stage. And I know the one of the big things with Full Monty is a fairly adult show. Did any of that bother you?
No, I mean I thought it was hilarious because that's kind of the point of the show is that it's so out there.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, it was just fun to me. Yeah.
Oh, oh, good. Oh, good, good, good. And then you also a couple years ago you did the Skylight Music Theater Camp. Is that correct?
Yeah. Hmm.
And what was that? Was involved in that?
Um, it was a 2 week program that I spent down in Milwaukee. Pretty much they taught us songs, dances, and then scenes, and then at the end of the week we put them all together into like a little chunk of a show. And then we ended up doing like a flash mob. It was like a coffee day in the park next to it. And so we stopped down and did this flash mob with a song from Hairspray.
Uh-huh.
And then at the end of the 2 weeks, we had a showcase event where we each picked a song that was recommended to us by the people leading the event. So they had heard us each sing. And
Yeah.
so they narrowed down what would be a good song for us. And then all of our parents could come and we gave them like a little show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. And then and also just this year, you got one of the Peninsula Players scholarships, which was pretty cool, and I hope helps.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Yeah. Now, now that you're at school, what happens? Will there be auditions coming up, or can you perform in shows your first year?
I'm not sure what they're going to do for shows this first year, but they're having us send in little audition videos over this app called Parchment,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know what they'll do with that, but I guess we'll see.
Oh, yeah. Do you have any dream roles you'd like to do?
Um,
I know every
anything,
time.
uh, anything in Les Mis. That's probably my favorite
Okay.
show of all time.
Yeah. Great show.
And then just as a joke, if they ever brought back Cats, I would be in Cats.
I know a lot of people make fun of that show,
Hmm.
but the first time I saw it, I loved it. I thought it was really fun and really
Hmm.
great.
Yeah, it's really out there, you know. Um, and that's what's so great about it, in my opinion. Everyone knocks it and says it's like weird, but that's what's awesome about it.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
its own animal. If not to make a joke,
yeah.
but um, and then I imagine that you'll also be doing just regular plays also while you're there.
I think so. They let musical theater students, yeah, audition for both plays and musicals, and vice versa for actors. So,
Oh, okay.
mhm.
Well, that's very exciting. It'll be it's 4 years, right?
Yes,
And then, well, a lot of stuff can happen in that time.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, and then after you get out, you're thinking about New York, which is, I think, a dream of everyone.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's also good if I may offer some advice. There's theater cities around the country like Chicago or
Mm.
uh, elsewhere that also have lots of opportunities. But I know I myself wanted to go to New York and make it. You
Right,
know.
right.
Um, in one, I wanted to read a quote that you said, and you said this was advice for future freshmen. And you said, "Don't let people stop you from doing what you want to do, unless it keeps you safe or out of trouble."
Yeah,
And yeah, and you believe that.
wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I was definitely a big troublemaker through elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I would actually say musical theater was a great outlet for me to really zero in on something to focus on that gave me something to like work for and to not like, kind of throw everything away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, definitely throughout high school, I learned that, you know, um, if you want to do something, do it, but not if it's gonna, you know, get ruin, things.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure, sure. Well, that's great. And I have to tell our audience out there that Hayden was terrific to work with during the Fulmani, and did a terrific job. You took direction. You were just great in the show.
Thank you very much.
And anyway, I thank you so much for being with us today, and all the best with at Stevens Point as you go forward. I hope it's not only fun but challenging. And when you come out, I look forward to seeing how it goes with you.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll hopefully see you soon. All right.
For sure.
Okay. Take
Yeah.
care.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.
And now I'd like to welcome Isaiah Spetz, who made his professional debut in 2010 in Over the Tavern at Peninsula Players. Isaiah, hi, how are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you, Greg?
I'm excellent, thank you. So glad you're here. A couple of things about Isaiah. He also did shows at Northern Sky Theater and Third Avenue Playhouse. He's a graduate of Sevastopol High School in 2017. And currently, he is at New York University's Tisch School of the Arts and is a musician, a vocalist, and an actor, not to mention a beekeeper. So, isn't that right?
That's correct. Yeah,
Tell us about that.
absolutely. My grandfather was a beekeeper and an apple farmer, and so we learned that from him growing up around the farm and in Sturgeon Bay. And my mom and I, about 5 years ago, we decided to get some hives and learn more about beekeeping, and
Mhm.
we certainly love it. It's truly incredible.
What do you love about it?
Well, it's something magical about the bees. I mean, you're wearing a suit, hopefully, um, and they're landing all over you, and they're quite docile most of
Yeah,
the time. Um, but there's tens or hundreds of thousands of bees in the air around you, and the whole process of extracting honey and being part of that process is really incredible.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really cool. Many years ago, I was on tour and I learned to knit while I was doing it. And I don't do it now, but at the time, and just doing something with my hands, creating something, or doing what you're doing as a beekeeper is there's very satisfying.
It certainly is. It makes you feel connected. Beekeeping certainly makes you feel connected, yeah, to nature.
And you're out in the open because you need to be away from other buildings, right?
Right. Um, I mean, I don't know, you could probably put bees somewhere, in the city, I imagine, but yeah, we have it far out on on some acres. So,
Oh, cool. You and I think when Sherlock Holmes retired, that's what he also did.
oh, okay, that's good. I'm not Sherlock Holmes.
So, going back to, like I'd like to ask you about when you all started in this theater thing. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was third grade?
That's right. Yeah, think of that. So, I grew up in Sturgeon Bay, and third grade, I started doing projects with what was the Music and Art School in Sturgeon Bay.
Was this
Um,
something that you asked to do, or your family put you in, or?
my friend was involved in their productions, and she dragged me in. Well, she didn't have to do much dragging, but she was, encouraged me to join. And I had always been performative and certainly, good in front of an audience and singing all the time. So that was really the first time that I fell in love with, the being in front of the lights and an audience like that.
Why do you think that was? Do you think that's part of who you are? Or was it something in your family, or?
It's some half and half in my family. Some people don't, like most families, some people don't like to perform, but there is a
Yeah.
history in my family of people who like to sing, and we always get together and sing and play guitars. Um, so I think from a young age that was my interest, and my parents definitely focused on that and
Oh,
directed me towards that.
oh, fun! And you were quite happy to do that,
Absolutely. And I
and then
still am. Yeah.
and you are, and you did that through grammar school.
Through grammar school, um, yeah, maybe about fifth grade. Um, and I was looking around. I think I did some work in De Pere through the Birder School of the Arts,
Mm-hmm.
where I was taking classes, and I think that's right where I was when I discovered Peninsula Players, um, and when I did Over the Tavern. I was in fifth grade.
So how old were you then?
I was 12, I believe. Yeah, 2010. I was 12.
12. I love that show. It's such a sweet, lovely play. And tell us a little bit about the character you played.
Sure. Um, so Over the Tavern by Tom Dudzik, I played the younger brother, Georgie.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgie was a mentally challenged character. And, um, I have some relation to autism. And, I think it was a really challenging role for a 12-year-old to step into
Mm-hmm.
with respect and dignity and, telling the story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was a wonderful cast to be a part of. I have nothing but fond memories of that show. So
Yes, they were a great group of people, very
yeah,
warm.
yeah.
Yeah. And I got to tell you that I thought you did a terrific job. I didn't direct it, so I'm not going to take any credit for it. But to play the role of a mentally challenged kid, that's a real challenge because you have to walk a very careful line there.
Yeah, I to pay respect to that community and how to tell their story um, in a way that isn't exploitative. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it was an interesting thing.
Yeah, because I've seen actors who do too much or exaggerated, and it's so wrong. And it was so nice the way you fit into the family that way, because it was all a very loving family, and they cared for you and you for them. It was great. So that, I think somewhere I heard you say that doing that show planted the seed for you for, yes?
Yes, that's right. I have said that. It certainly did. I think that whole summer, um, how can you not fall in love with theater when you're at Peninsula Players? It's just a beautiful setting, and um, yeah, I mean, working with Christine Thatcher, the whole cast of people, um, I really understood that there's a whole group of people that do this type of art and magic for a living, and yeah, that's when I felt extra in love with it.
So you mean it occurred to you that you could do it for a living?
Yeah, it did. That if I followed, a certain path, that I might end up there. Yeah.
I see. And you got to know some people on there, like I think you stayed in touch with Jessie Mueller.
Yeah, here and there. We did stay in touch. I visited her a couple times in her dressing rooms, which was, beyond exciting. But she's so genuine. She's so lovely.
Yes.
And always has been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just did an interview with her, and she was all of that, and really, it was great to see her again.
Yeah.
So then after Over the Tavern, you also did some work at Third Avenue Playhouse with the Stage Kids program. Is that right?
That's right. Right. I think it was 2014 is when I started working with Stage Kids.
Mm-hmm.
That was really an incredible moment of growth, I think, for me. Just I could do more work there and in a professional setting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my first show that I really did was Columbinus, I think, directed by Bob Bowles.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I think, a freshman in high school when I did that. Yeah, that was a challenging role.
Yes, yes. I remember, I think when we did the full Monty, I cast Hayden in that, and I'm trying to remember if you auditioned for it or if we talked about it.
I think we talked about it.
Yeah.
I think I was a little too old for the role, maybe.
Yeah. And you had like heightened a bit.
Yeah, right.
And I kept
Yeah.
thinking, well, that's what professional theater is like. It's like, no, I'm sorry, we can't cast you because your partner in the scene is too short. It's shorter
Yeah.
than it's something. Well, you discover as you go along.
Yeah.
So you worked at Third Avenue, and then you decided after high school or sometime during high school that you wanted to continue to learn about this.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was a moment when that really settled in.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine it was around sophomore, junior year when you start thinking about college,
Mm-hmm.
when I really started looking at a performing arts career.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, yeah.
And now you're at New York University. How did that choice come to happen?
I get this question and I kind of wonder myself. It just kind of, I don't know. I had done some research into a lot of different schools and audition, of course. My cousin actually is a year older than me and also went to a similar program within the NYU.
Mm-hmm.
And so I heard from her about the lowdown about what to expect. And so when I got accepted, I figured that this would be a good place for me. And I think it has been.
Excellent. Cody, our production manager, knows NYU School for the Arts really well too.
Oh, lovely. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And of course, the other great thing is you're in New York, and I think in the United States, I would say most people think of the center of theater in this country as New York, though, so you're in a great place to make connections to, when all of this is over, continue work. Is that what you're thinking, is to stay there?
That's what my plan is for the moment, and I think I have to say that with some tentativeness, depending on what the scene is looking like
Of course.
um, when I graduate in January. But I think the plan is to look for work and try to cultivate a community out here. Um,
Now, when you get out of there, which is soon, right?
Soon, yeah, I have one semester left.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is insane to me. I don't know how that goes so quickly.
And what's your goal there? Is it musical theater? Is it any theater? Is what a combination?
A combination, any theater. I've been looking around. I study within the program that's called New Studio on Broadway, which
Hmm.
is centered a lot around musical theater training, but takes acting training with a lot of different techniques. Um, so I'm interested in dance theater. I'm interested in uh, in regular plays as well, but I
Hmm.
also like to write. So um,
Well, I noticed that while I think it was it last year you did a production of Clouds by Aristophanes.
that's right. Yeah.
And I looked at the program, and you not only played the character of Socrates in it, but you were also involved in musically composing, arranging, and directing.
That's right. That was my spring project this year.
Hmm.
Um, so what that program is it's a intensive of a 10 group of people that works with clowning and commedia acting technique.
Hmm.
And it usually results in a play at the end of the year, but when COVID-19 hit, we had to reconsider what we were going to do in the class, and so we moved virtual, and so we ended up I ended up having to do a lot of the composing and arranging with the rest of the cast virtually, which was really wonderful,
Hmm.
new experience. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic that you have those skills
thank you.
because I think, I mean, having those musical skills will only be helpful in the future. And I think at one point, I think it was the interview I saw that you did with James and Bob at Third Avenue. You mentioned that you play the guitar
Yes,
and that you also, well, at least at some point, played violin and trombone.
that's right.
Do you
And
still?
piano.
And
I
piano.
do. Yes, I think I s- piano was my first one, and I stick to that a lot of the time. Yeah, I do. I violin is a little rusty, I have to admit. Um, but I play guitar probably every night if I can.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And
um,
did the trombone disappear?
um, Not entirely. I can pick it up. I was going back to play in the pep band at Sebastopol High School for a while. Um, so I played that through high school, and I'm kind of confident that it hasn't disappeared on me. But
Oh, that's great. That's
yeah.
great. I love that was my favorite part of high school was I played clarinet in the
Oh yeah.
concert band. But I got to tell you, it, I mean, if it was up to me, I would say hang on to those skills because I remember a few years ago we did a musical called Radio Gals, and I had to cast an actress who played the violin and acted, and I think she also had to play the trombone in the show. And so finding someone with those skills was a real challenge. But
Yeah.
as a director who I greatly respect said, the more eggs you have in your basket, the better. Yeah.
That's good advice. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
So, so what's coming up this, you're on semesters?
Yeah, we're in a semester program. Yeah.
Will you be doing anything like you did with clouds?
Um, to be decided. I'm working on auditioning right now, and there's a couple different shows that are floating around. We may do something like The Clouds, but I think it's going to be more of a devised piece, more of a self-composed and arranged piece, based on our interesting times that we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, cool, cool. And you mentioned that you have an interest in dance and have been exploring that.
I'm new to dance, yes.
New to it, yes.
Um, Ballet was new for me in freshman year, but I really learned to value not only the technique of ballet, but also the expression and movement. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know
That
if I can call myself a dancer yet, but maybe.
again, but being able to dance, especially in musical theater, is a terrific gift.
Yes, I think it's important, and has become more important. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially in New York with the musicals, big musicals there,
Yeah.
um, and well, that will always come in handy. And oh my God, I have great respect for dancers who can do ballet. I mean, that is so athletic and requires so much strength and skill. It's amazing, amazing. Um, so you're starting classes. I think Wednesday. You said,
That's right. That's 2 days from now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm a little nervous, a couple new things going on, but yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be mostly on a virtual platform.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so a lot of things, are different, but there's a lot about humanity that can still translate through the screen, I think.
Yeah,
So
and it sounds
yeah.
like the program you're in allows for a lot of creativity.
Yeah, it certainly, I have some really tremendous professors, who have adapted really well.
Excellent,
So yeah.
excellent. And do you get out and get a chance to see New York at all?
Um, the first 3 years that I have been here, I have as
Hmm.
much as I can,
Yeah.
um, because growing up in Sturgeon Bay, I crave the green spaces and of nature, you know.
Hmm.
Um, I just got back a week ago, and I'm living in Brooklyn, which is new to me,
Hmm.
and I haven't gone in the city of Manhattan yet, but I have gone around Brooklyn a little with my mask on. Um, So I'm learning about the neighborhood, but
Gotcha,
yeah, yeah,
gotcha. But being in green is important to you.
certainly. And I realize that more and more when I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was living in New York out of college, I found that Central Park was a really wonderful place to be near because I was only a couple blocks from it at the time because it's huge and it's really neatly laid out. It's really wonderful.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah, I try to make it there as much as I can. Yeah.
do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can recommend, if you don't mind the subway or train or something like that, going up to Fort Tryon Park and the cloisters.
Oh,
Are you aware
okay.
of that?
I've never heard. I guess maybe, but no.
It's a really cool park, and the Cloisters is, I believe, owned by the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and it looks like an old monastery, and it's filled with medieval art,
Ooh,
and they play
fascinating.
very cool, very soothing medieval music while you're in there. But there's a whole huge park to go through, and it's I found it always invigorating. So that's my suggestion.
Okay, thank you. I'll write that down. I would
Okay.
like that.
Um, You did a little, there was a short film you did a little bit ago for CESA 7, which is a communications, which is an educational service. And in it, and I don't know if you remember this, you had a guitar in your hand. You said the true love is expression and being able to relate to an audience and share an energy.
Hmm.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, but I think I know which video you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I when I heard you say that, I thought that was a wonderful thing in terms of, because that's live theater
Yeah.
and relating to an audience. And you, from what I've seen of your work and everything, you seem to do that very easily and readily, and you enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just so important, I think, to the listening and the giving and taking of being in any room with anyone, but certainly something magical happens in a space full of people,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
like
There
theater.
was
Yeah.
there was a study recently done, a small one in England, where they discovered that during a live performance, the audience's heartbeats synced up
Mm.
together, which
Ah,
I thought was really cool.
yeah. Yeah, I've heard that you can listen to the audience before the show and just listen to them breathing, and you can get a sense of the unison in the breath. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I try to do that just to get used to the audience.
I say, do you do any writing?
I do. I write a lot of poetry, uh, unpublished, but maybe someday. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a songwriter
Mm-hmm.
um, with a handful of songs, but I'd like to develop that a little more. Yeah.
Ah, I see. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's
Mhm.
great. Well, Isaiah, I thank you so much for being with us today. It's great to see you. I wish you all the best as you're going forward in your last semester and beyond.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. It's wonderful to see you, Craig.
Uh,
Um, and same to you. I hope you have a wonderful fall.
oh, well, thank you. All right.
Yeah.
You take care, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah. See you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peninsula Players was very glad to give Hayden and Isaiah their professional debuts. In fact, it was, for us, it was our gain because they were terrific. And we're very happy to see, especially in these times, two gifted young people who have a passion and a love for live theater. We at the Players feel this is an important art form that will endure, that has endured for thousands of years. And it really does our heart good to see this torch being carried into the future by such excellent performers as Hayden and Isaiah. And we wish them all the best. So thanks for being here. Until next time.